All right, Dr. Imfan Akpan here. Hope you are well. I've got some exciting news, and I'd like to talk about a new release. So, we're going to get some commentary on it, see what you think about it, and is this exciting or is this another flop potentially?
Point 5 is here. It is their new frontier model. It is coming out in Codex and ChatGPT Pro. And yes, it is an incredible model. So we're releasing GPT 5.5, our smartest and most intuitive to use model yet, and the next step toward a new way of getting work done on a computer. Now, I've been using it for 2 weeks. I've been thoroughly testing it on my own code bases, on fresh code bases. I've used it in ChatGPT Pro. And it is a very, very good model. It fixes a lot of the issues that GPT 5.4 had. Specifically, it has a better personality. And I think that is in response to how difficult and soulless it was to use GPT 5.4 in OpenClaw. So that is.
Now, I've been using 5.4 in Codex, and I've been using 5.2 Codex with the Microsoft app. And I mean, to me, I see a difference from using the 5.4, using Codex versus actually going to the website. It's in many cases, well, at least for what I'm using it for, it seems like 5.4 in Chat GPT, not in Codex, works a lot better.
That's something to note. All right. So a lot of this is just kind of marketing fluff. I mean, it's all true, but it's the stuff they say in every single blog post. So here is where it really matters. The gains are especially strong in agentic coding, computer use, knowledge work, and early scientific research. This is where it obviously matters. This is where the money is. This is where Anthropic showed us that you can grow incredibly fast revenue, really like doubling and doubling and doubling all the way up to $30 billion annual run rate right now with a hyper focus on enterprise coding. And OpenAI got the message. They are now focused on coding, and this is the result. They are starting to put out more models that are just better and better at agentic coding because the flywheel is just incredible. You build a coding model, you sell it to enterprise and make a bunch of money, you collect all of that incredible coding data, make the model better, and then use that model to train your next model. It is the self-improving flywheel of artificial intelligence.
Now, we talked about this before, where that is true, and you're seeing more dark code. So, meaning more code being shipped that hasn't been reviewed or looked at by a human. It's generated, but it's managed by a human. So, and I think about this when I'm using Codex or I'm working with 5.4, there's so much information. So there's so much code. Everything is so large, it will take you so long to review it. And then, so it's easier to have the AI to check or to have the AI to review what you're working on versus you manually doing it. So you're sacrificing the speed. You're getting speed, but sacrificing potential quality and efficiency down the road because it may work, but there may have been a better way to get it to work. Now, some people argue that, well, human coders have the same issue. Some are better than others. That's true. However, many cases you want to move forward and you're just trusting the AI to help you to push forward.
GPT 5.5 delivers this step up in intelligence without compromising on speed. Larger, more capable models are often slower to serve, but GPT 5.5 matches GPT 5.4 token latency and real world serving while performing at a much higher level of intelligence. So this is something that I know they spent a lot of time on, and I noticed a few things. One, you get the same level of intelligence as GPT 5.4 in far fewer tokens. It is just more token efficient overall. Now, that is counterbalanced by the fact that it is a more expensive model. But when it all balances out,
so he makes a great point here. And I call this tokenomics. So what is happening, particularly on enterprise, is that you're being charged not a flat usage rate, you're being charged a token rate. So you're being charged for the tokens that you use. And when we're talking about a reasoning model, that's part of our token usage. When the model is thinking and asking itself questions, that's also generating tokens which go into the context window count. And when you're paying for them. Now, in this case, what's happening with 5.4 and what he's saying is that it's using fewer tokens, so it's more efficient, but it's charging you more for those tokens. So you're using less, you're still paying more for the intelligence and the compute, but it's using less. So compared to, let's 5.4, which maybe cost a little bit less per thousand or per token, but it uses more tokens for thinking.
You're paying less overall, and that's the key. And then also there's a higher ceiling on the total intelligence you can get out of a GPT 5.5 model. So more efficient per token, which is really good. More expensive per token, but more efficient as well. It also uses significantly fewer tokens to complete the same codex task, making it more efficient as well as more capable. And yes, I noticed this. It was very clear, not only in the amount of thinking tokens it was using, but also just how it explained things to me, which, when I'm coding, and I'm vibe coding especially, when it gives me an essay to explain one little change that I've made or that it has made, it's frustrating. I don't want that. It's too much. It's too much to read. And I always have to say, hey, explain that simply and explain that in short. And it always does after that. But now you don't really have to do that. It explains it in a really concise way. And that's also part of the personality improvement that I mentioned. If GPT 5.4 is explaining something to you in a very rigid, very formal essay, and then 5.5 is like, here, let me give you exactly what you need, that is an improvement in the personality, the tone of the messages that you're receiving from 5.5. So we're releasing 5.5 with our strongest set of safeguards to date, designed to reduce misuse while preserving access for beneficial work. 5.5 is rolling out to Plus, Pro, Business, and Enterprise users in ChatGPT and Codex, and GPT 5.5 Pro is rolling out to Pro, Business, and Enterprise users in ChatGPT. And of course, if you're talking about real world AI usage, you have to talk about how it actually works in the enterprise environment. And the sponsor of today's video, Box, put together a bunch of benchmarks.
All right, so let's look at what we talked about on the next side. So that was interesting. It shows you how 5.5 is in Codex, how you can use it for work. So we're thinking Claude code, but in a different way. So um, if you've ever used Codex, it has its own paradigm or its own way of helping you to work. And then there's a different way that you think about using the platform. So this is exciting times. We got a new model. I know there's more to come. And I'd like to hear what you think about this, where this is going. Does it make a difference? Is it good? Is it bad? What are your thoughts on this? Make sure to like and subscribe if you want more content.